Welcome, everybody. This is Desiree Foster Collins with Excellence by Design, and I am so excited tonight because tonight I have our second installation of Rise and Lead. Now, you guys know that Rise and Lead is our leadership development series, and I love just talking to women who are doing things, right? Just doing things, and these are just like regular women who are just doing really awesome things for their life and trying to change the world one day at a time just by living. They've decided to rise, they've decided to lead, and I'm just really excited. So I'm just welcoming you guys tonight. Once again, this is Desiree, and my heart's passion and desire is to help small business owners, entrepreneurs, organizations build their greatest asset, which is their people and themselves, through leadership development and training, in addition to using video and building their clients through social media. And so you guys know that about me, but I want to get really into our guest tonight. Oh my gosh, I've got Jasmine Henderson tonight. Woo! Yes!
Woo-hoo!
So Jasmine Henderson, she is a professional soccer player. She's an author, and she's a motivational speaker. This woman is amazing, you guys. She is amazing. And I was going through your bio, Jasmine, and I just want to read a little bit about what they can know, just a little bit about you before we actually get into it, okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
So Jasmine's vision is to let every woman know how important she is, that she's beautiful, unique, worthy, and redeemed, and your God-given story matters.
Yes. I still get chills. Like you reading it to me gives me chills.
She's like, wait, is that me? Like, is that me?
That's me. That's my vision. Yes, absolutely.
Well, Jasmine, thank you so much for just taking the time to be here with us, and go ahead and just tell everyone just a little bit about you.
Yeah. So, like I said, it's so beautiful to hear that vision again and again and again. And I feel like a big part of that is really at an early age, just realizing that every little part, every little piece, that even whether they've played a piece or a part in my life, or, even as a soccer team, it's 11, 11 teammates working together towards a common goal, and every single piece matters. And that's a message that I think I just really, like I said, learned at a young age. I'm born and raised from LA, and very eclectic background, and obviously sports was a huge thing, specifically soccer for myself. But what was so beautiful was when I look back on it, I see how I accepted God and started playing sports like around the same time at like 5 and 6 years old. So it was almost like right away I started just finding my passion and finding the different ways in which my relationship with God and my relationship with sports, and how I'm created to move and do all these really awesome things, like how I just saw them come together. So now, like, fast forward through playing soccer and all these sports growing up, and being in many leadership positions. I was president of my class. I was always captain of my team. Like, those being in front of people and leading always came natural to me. And so to now come at this stage of my life where I've done the professional soccer thing, which that makes it sound like way less than what it is, but I've done the professional soccer thing, and I have my son now, and I wrote a book, and I've been speaking, and at this stage, and I love that, the idea of, like you said, of really to rise and lead. And for so many people, sometimes they think it's quite literally, like, oh, I really have to like rise, and I have to be the captain of the team, or I have to be, president or whatever. But what I love, what you're inviting people to really realize, is that it doesn't like leading looks differently for people. Like God needs you to lead right where you're at right now. You don't necessarily have to be the CEO or the boss or the captain. Like, heck, you could be the captain of your ship as a mom, you know what I mean? Like, and that's a whole nother CEO position in and of itself. But, you know, each and every single bit matters. And so that's where I've really just been discovering where I'm at now, the different soccer teams that I've coached, the different, you know, high school teams, clubs, academies. Each and every single part matters. So to empower and to give somebody confidence, like that's why everywhere on my social media stuff, it's Jasmine empowers, because I really feel like in so many ways, God put so many people in my life that empowered me, that encouraged me, that allowed me to explore and really take hold of my confidence. And so if I could give that away to somebody else and say, yes, you can, yes, you can, then I'm like, okay, like my job is done for the day.
You know, it's so interesting that you say that. I mean, there was so many rich nuggets in there, so many rich nuggets. And a part of the way that I teach leadership
Yeah.
is that through, it's not necessarily title, it's not necessarily position, but leadership is influence.
Yes.
And in every facet of our lives, like you're saying, as a mom, as a, you know, in the professional sports arena, in, you know, becoming an author and being that voice on paper, you know,
Yeah.
motivational speaking, being in front of people. A lot of people think that, okay, well, I have to be in the front. I have to
Yeah.
have, you know, the title, the name, the number, the dollar signs, all those things. But you can be right where you are and
Absolutely.
utilize your influence to make
Hmm.
a difference.
Oh yeah, and the beautiful thing about that too is that sometimes I've even seen it on the flip side where people have that title or they have the money or they have and they abuse it, and for lack of a better way to put it, they abuse it or they don't take care of it or they don't treasure it, you know, at the same time. And so I've experienced that a lot as a soccer player, as an athlete, where, you know, these coaches, I don't think they recognize really the power that they have. And so that's why I love the word influence that you're associating with leadership, because really when we think about it, like somebody's following us. Like maybe not on social media, or maybe you know, not like the typical what now in society would be considered as follow, but even like your peers, your family, your friends, your coworkers, you know, people are watching.
Yes, they are.
And so it's like I feel really blessed, and I speak to, especially to some of my peers that haven't had kids yet. And I was like, you know, even though it came in an unexpected way, I feel so blessed to have my son. Like, he's like, I literally see my legacy in front of me every single day. Like,
Yes.
I know that I am influencing at least one person every single day. And to realize that, like you said, and that was a big part. So a lot of my transition in these past few months of really holding on and grabbing hold of motivational speaker and author, and really transitioning from, okay, yeah, I played professional soccer, and transitioning into here, a lot of that has been that idea that my identity was wrapped in that title.
So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
There's so many, especially, and I know you're a millennial, and
Yeah.
there are so many young people,
Yeah.
like, you know, in your age bracket that are striving. I mean, they're striving for really big things.
Yeah.
We've got, you know, we've got startups popping up everywhere. We've got,
Hmm.
everybody wants to be a life coach. You know, we've got, you know, people that are, you know, striving. You know, I have a millennial that I'm raising, and
Yeah.
you know, he's working towards, you know, become, you know, being the artist that he is. And what has been your biggest letdown
Mm.
in you know, in that realm of, okay, now people know who I am. Now I can add this position to who Jasmine is. What was
Yeah.
the biggest letdown in all of that?
The first thing that comes to mind, honestly, was was really, so the big dream for me was playing professional soccer. Like that had always, man, even when I first saw the women win in the 94 Olympics, and I remember watching that game and thinking, wow, like that would be so cool. And that was always the vision. It was always the vision. And so when I got there and I did it, and I did it and I was doing it and I was in it. And the first thing that comes up to me about the letdown was that, like, unfortunately, it was just seeing the inequality between, a woman's salary and a man's salary. And I think that was the first time that it was like there was like a little hole in the dream. And I was like, and then trying to figure it out from there, where I was like, okay, but if I'm not this soccer player, and that's what I'm saying, like that was a thing that I had to figure out. Or even in having my son, like if I'm not this soccer player, I think the biggest letdown was like, man, I've worked so hard for this dream, practically all my life for this dream, and it's not everything that I thought it was going to be. And again, talking about titles and everything, like to say that I've played professionally and to say that I've gone to another country and done all these things, and have played on multiple continents, like
So
it's one thing.
where have you gone? Share with us where you've gone.
So my first time ever out of the country, besides to, I live in LA. So besides a mission trip to Mexico, okay, that I did, which was awesome. But actually, like, overseas, my first time was when I was 17, and I played in the uh, biggest youth soccer tournament in Sweden, and it's called the Gothia Cup. And I had a choice again. I was picked out of women or young girls from all over the United States, and I got selected into this group to go. We literally, half of us met in New York and the other half of us met in Sweden. And so I played Sweden, and that was my first exposure to where I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And then, so I've also not played on teams, but I've also been a part of like teams, like coaching and playing in England, as well as in Brazil before I actually played there in Brazil. I mean, I've traveled to different countries like Egypt, Jordan, Israel. I've been to Greece as well. So I've definitely traveled, and soccer has opened up a lot of that. The main place that I played professionally was in Brazil, which is, for soccer players, is like the Mecca. Like it's like where everybody knows, because the soccer is just amazing. So to go play there, and the truth is, like, I could have gone on to play. There's professional leagues in Sweden and Germany and England, but in realizing that, I was like, wow, this is a whole different ball game that I wasn't expecting. Then that's how, when I came back and I regrouped, and then the funny thing, for those of you that don't know my story, when I came back, I was like, okay, what is next? And still holding on to the athlete side of me, then I ended up pursuing the WWE, the World Wrestling Entertainment, with The Rock and John Cena and Hulk Hogan, for those of you that are from an older generation. And and so I started doing that. And again, because I was like, I'm athletic, it's a professional thing, again, like shooting for the stars. and I did, and I got, and within a few months time, had the flight paid for, had the hotel booked, itinerary sent, car, ready to go. And then 2 weeks before then is when I found out I was pregnant with my son.
Okay.
And so again, that bit of identity crisis, where that's what I'm saying, like, if talking about like, who am I?
Yes.
That was definitely one of those moments where, especially after having my son and playing semi-pro again this last year, it was like really, really figuring out, and not even figuring out, I would say honestly more just surrendering to the idea that my whole identity is not wrapped in this athletic or this gift of athleticism.
Did you find
And
did you find that you used it as your scapegoat?
oh, absolutely. It's something that is so easy to me. It's like, oh, I don't know what to do. Okay, I'll go play some or do some extreme thing. Like that to me, like in the past is as I was sharing with you, the fact that I was considering recently going to go play back in Brazil just a few months ago. And I was like, to what end? Like, it's sad to say that that's something that I can easily do. Like, is to be like, yeah, I'll just go play professional soccer because I want to avoid what I'm really supposed to be doing in life. Like, it sounds crazy, but so I feel for people who, like, I feel like, man, when we really are honing in on our purpose, it feels so risky. Like, it's the riskiest thing that we could ever do. And like, speaking in front of people, like, that's not risky for me, or writing a book. But to actually, though, the thing that was the game changer for me was, but to actually believe in and own my own projects. Like, I was so good at um, working for other people and having their stuff do really great, and pumping their brand or their name or their mission or their vision, doing that. But when it came to what I felt like I was being led to do, I was like, no, 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 no.
Oh my gosh, we're so similar in that regard. When when a person's a giver,
Yeah,
it becomes so easy to continue to
yeah,
give and to give and to give, because it becomes that soccer game, right?
yes,
I know how to do that really well. I know how to help you become everything that you need to be. But when I start to look at myself and the things that, you know, I'm being nudged to do, it can be a very scary place to be.
yeah.
Be a
Oh my gosh, yeah,
It could be a very, very scary place to be. And, this month we're talking about connection.
yeah,
And a lot of the times, when we're communicating with people, we have a saying. If you don't know, and I believe I shared this with you, but I am a certified coach with the John Maxwell team,
yeah.
and we have one of our courses that we teach is everyone communicates, but few
Mm.
connect. And so the idea of communication and connecting, those are two very different things.
Yes, they are.
Two very, very, very different things. Now I know that you do a lot of public speaking, and
Yeah.
your audience. Tell us about your audience and share some of the things that you talk to them about.
Sure. So the audience can range, but for the most part, though, right now where I'm at is it's been a beautiful blend of mainly an athletic audience. So I've spoken at mainly, particularly right now, like a lot of high schools and a lot of aspiring athletes, and whether they're Christian athletes or whether they're just athletes in general. That's who I've mainly been speaking to. Obviously, I spoke at your conference, and I've done spoken to specifically just women groups. I've spoken to specifically just youth groups, and as well as I did also speak at the LA Convention Center, and that's I think more where I'm feeling led to be, is like, it's a bigger scope and a bigger scale than really what I at first had planned, as always. but yeah, but just with the audience and connecting, I think one thing that I've found to be true, and so even no matter if you're younger, older, a peer of mine, whether you're whatever race you are, whatever sport you play, there's still so many things when we actually share our story that connect with people. And so what I'm hearing you say, you know, in with my audience is that if I'm actually trusting my story and I'm trusting and I'm clearly communicating, but communicating and connecting are two different things. Like if I'm clearly communicating and trusting the story that I have, like there's just such a beautiful way that I've connected with so many different people, even, you know, whether the women are older than me, younger than me. I've had so many times when I've gone and to speak at a high school, and they've had like the moms were volunteering or something, and the moms come up to me afterwards and are like, thank you for sharing. You know, because I connected with them on something, even though I'm speaking to them. But generally speaking right now, though, that's my audience is that what I've seen is definitely athletes and women, because hello, I'm a woman athlete, so it makes sense. So, but that's the audience that just kind of naturally comes in. You know, and I've had, you know, it ranges, but mainly though, that's who I end up speaking to, are like the youth and athletes.
Jasmine, Henderson here, and this is the Midday Beauty Boost. Right now I'm at Los Alamitos High School, and so yes, I'm going to be sharing my story today.
During that same time that I turned 25 though, something else happened, okay? Where I'm looking around though, and I'm like, I'm 25 and I'm like, Jesus, where's my husband though? Like, let's talk about that, okay? There I was, 25 years old, and I had only had one boyfriend, ever. Let's talk about that. You guys want to talk about saving yourself until marriage? Wait till the rubber really hits the road. Can you imagine being a 25-year-old virgin in Los Angeles, and you like to dance? Let's talk about that, real talk, okay? I'm talking real stuff. Because like I said, you can look like you got it all together, but there's still something that's going on the inside.